Buongiorno everyone and welcome back to Lineup Predictions. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Our match preview for this game should be up on the channel now with special guest Isha. So go and check that one out. Smash a like on both videos and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. The game in question is Burnley tomorrow night at home, St James's Park, second home game of the season. 8 PM kickoff live on Sky. Burnley, 2 games into the season, their first game was postponed with Man United. And their next 2 games, they've lost both. So 0 points on the board so far for Burnley. So this could be a great opportunity for us to hopefully have a decent game. Show something that we did fit our first game of the season against West Ham. Because since then, minus the Morecambe game, we've been shocking. They lost to Leicester quite convincingly. I think that was 4-2 and 1-0 last week to Southampton. They went out of the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. When we played, they got beat off Man City. So they're out of the Cup. They've started the league terribly. So this is a massive opportunity for us to go there, to hopefully get some form and hopefully get a point of 3. That would be nice because I'm getting sick now. I'm getting tired of these performances. Brucey ball, it's pissing me off. So, and I fucking hate Burnley. Sorry if you're a Burnley fan, but we went down in December, away day. Wish I didn't do it. Now, we're craving for some football now. We are craving to get to some games, but I wouldn't even fucking go to Burnley away. Shocking day out. Saint-Maximin should be fit. Brucey says he's trained all week. They decided not to risk him against Newport, which was a good idea. I'd have been pissed off if I seen him in the team, to be honest. But yeah, he should be fit. Whether he starts or not is questionable, but we'll see how that one goes. Unfortunately, Jamal Lascelles and Emil Kraft are a problem. Bruce says they're a concern. They are doubtful. Lascelles has a hamstring injury and Kraft has a hip injury. We're going to train today to see how them two are, as well as Saint-Maximin. Hopefully they'll all come through, but I think Saint-Maximin's the more likely of the 3. Fabian Schär is okay as well. He's ahead of schedule. He played his first game, got 20 minutes against Newport on Wednesday. His first involvement in 9 weeks when he picked up a shoulder injury at the end of last season, which is good timing because without Lascelles and Kraft, we're knackered. We've been relying so much on Lascelles and Fernandes, particularly in the league, with everyone else being injured. Schär being one of them. Dummett and Clark still aren't available yet. Bruce says he's hoping that they're going to be back in training soon, as well as Matty Longstaff. But yeah, central defence is a big problem. I say without Lascelles and Fernandes in cup games when we've been needing to rotate, Kraft's had to start there. So without Lascelles, you would have thought Kraft might start, but neither of them are. You might want to look at Hayden, who played there against Tottenham, but that was in a back 3. I think would be a little bit exposed, leaving someone else there. Hayden, who else has played there? I'm sure someone else has covered at centre back, but we can't be covering, not in a flat back 4, which we need to play Brucey. Now there's 5 at the back shit. Honestly, I'm not having 5 at the back. Not against Burnley. I can see Tottenham being reasonable with the likes of Son and Kane. Tricky teams, but not against Burnley. Not having that in the slightest. So Fabian Schär we're maybe going to have to rely on, but today in training it's a big day for everyone who's questionable, and it's food for thought for Brucey, who we're going to play. I'd also like to wish the best of luck to the 2 lads that have departed today. Dan Barlassa, an academy graduate who's been with the club since he was a boy. He's left today on a permanent deal. He's gone back to Rotherham, where he had a very successful spell last season, helped them get promoted from League One to the Championship. So good luck, Dan. Dan's 23 now. He's not a kid anymore, and he's currently our 6th, well, was our 6th choice centre mid. So I think it's a good move, to be fair. He probably wasn't going to get game time, and how long can you keep someone around? Is he going to break into the team when he's 24, 25, 26? Next thing you know, he's going to be into that Jesse Lingard. He's going to be 27 years old. Everyone's going to be like, oh, he's still got time. He's got time to progress. Like, he hasn't. Football's a quick career. You need to be breaking through when you're under 23, really, in my opinion. Elias Sorensen has gone out on loan to a second-tier Dutch team. I don't know what they're called. I can't remember their name. I've never heard of them in my life. Second tier of the Dutch division under the Eredivisie. So good luck to him. Hopefully he gets some game time. Hopefully he impresses and comes back stronger. So we'll get into my lineup there then. And in goal, it'll obviously be Carl Darlow. This time last week, he had to pull out a big performance against Tottenham. I think Mark Gillespie was hot on his heels. I think a few fans were calling for Gillespie because he'd been way more impressive than Darlow had in previous games. But Darlow was outstanding against Tottenham. He did the job that he needed to do. He was amazing. And Gillespie was a little bit shaky midweek, so I think the gaps extended a little bit. Darlow's quite clearly the number 2 now until Dubravka comes back. So yeah, Darlow will be starting in goal. And the back line, oh, this is shaky. Right back, Javi Manquillo. It's going to have to be. He's been playing a lot of games. He plays too many games almost. Like in the cup games, I'd like to see him rested and rotated, but we just can't. Not now if Kraft's injured and DeAndre Yedlin, he's not in the future plans. He hasn't been putting in the performances lately. He wasn't even on the bench against Newport, so I think that tells you everything. So at the minute, Javi Manquillo is the only recognisable right back. So he's going to have to play yet another game and hopefully doesn't get any injuries. We've got a week break now as well. No more midweek games. The Carabao Cup quarter-final is just a few days before Christmas, I think. So we've got a couple of months now before any more cup games. So thankfully, we're just going to take it week by week now, just concentrate on the Premier League. So hopefully have some fit bodies by the time we play Man United next weekend. At centre-back, I'd be putting Fabian Schär alongside Federico Fernandez, who may captain the side again. He did against Newport during the week. It's one of them things. We've got 3 centre-backs who may or may not be fit. Bruce says Schär's okay. He's ahead of schedule. But does that mean he can start a Premier League game after playing only 20 or 30 minutes against a League 2 team in the Cup midweek? I don't know. But he seems to maybe be fitter than what Lascelles and Kraft are at the minute. So that might be how we'll have to play up Fabian Schär coming in and starting. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully one of Lascelles or Kraft are fit enough at least for the bench. So if Schär isn't fit, if he gets knackered after an hour, then we can rotate a little bit there. We'll see how that plays out. At left back, it's going to have to be Jamal Lewis. Again, we haven't got depth there. The only other one that would play there would be Richie, who's out injured, or Manquillo, who has to play at right back because there's nobody else. Unless Yedlin gets promoted again to the first team, which I say highly unlikely. If you can't get a game against Newport, he's not going to play in the Premier League. So Lewis has to play there. He was £15 million signing in the summer. He was brilliant in his first game against West Ham, but since then he's been a bit shaky for me. He didn't impress all that much against Newport, and I think if you're not impressing against a League 2 team, there's questions there. Positional defending, I kind of get away with Lewis. Like he's just all over the shop. He needs to work on that hard. He gets upfield very well. He's an athlete. He's a very fit young lad. He gets up. He's got a good cross in him. Some of his crosses against Newport were good. Some not so much. Some were overthrown a little bit. But yeah, he's going to have to. I think he's my first choice left back anyway. If we've got a fully fit team, he has to play there. He's the only recognisable one. And when we've spent 15 million on him, you're going to need to put him in. So hopefully we can stick with him. Hopefully he learns. He's still a young lad. I don't mean to give him stick. Like, he's a young lad. He's still got bits to learn. He had 1 year in the Premier League previously, which he finished rock bottom of the Premier League with Norwich. So yeah, give him time. We need to stick with him, get one money's worth out of him, and hope he comes good. In midfield, Isaac Hayden, he'll be going there, definitely. And alongside him, it'll be Jonjo Shelvey. There was question marks about him during the Newport game. Me and Renty were watching along, and he was absolutely shocking. There was questions coming up in the comments saying we should drop him for the Burnley game, and I was agreeing. You can't play like you did for 80 odd minutes like that and expect to keep your place. I say against a League 2 team. It was an appalling display. Shelvey and Carroll were probably the two worst on the pitch in my opinion. There was various others. Manquillo wasn't great, Lewis wasn't great, a number of them, Almiron. But Shelvey come up with one moment of magic, which is what we expect to see more regularly. Like, that's why he's a Premier League player. That's why he's been playing in the Premier League for so long. Why he's a bit of a fan favourite with certain Newcastle fans. He's got it in his locker. If he can bring it out a little bit more often, he could be one of the best centre-mids in the Premier League, in my opinion. He's passing range, he's long-range shooting, everything. He's got it in abundance, but he just hides it away. He only pulls it out every so often, which is so frustrating. If he played for the full game like he did for the last 5-10 minutes of the Newport game, we would have absolutely breezed that game. But he was just pumping balls long, straight to their keeper, nowhere near, no interest, just standing in the middle of the park, rubbing his knees, pulling his socks up. It wasn't good enough, but then you see what he can do. So hopefully he's got a little bit of confidence now. He's giving it a bit of that, even though there was no fans there, giving it this, because he knew if that was at St James's Park, he'd be getting booed to bits. You cannot play like that. So that's what that celebration was about, in my opinion. I think he knew he had a shocker, and he pulled out the shit. He probably knew people were sitting at home, watching Sky, slagging him off. But like we were, admittedly, we were too. And then he pulls out that moment of magic, saves were, scored his penalty, and we're through to the next round, all thanks to John Joe Shelvey. So yeah, hopefully, well, we'll be starting him as, I think, Sean Longstaff. Yeah, he hasn't been performing overly well for me lately. Same with Jeff Hendrick and with Matty Longstaff injured, Dan Barlaser away. Yeah, Shelvey has to play in there alongside Isaac Hayden. We're two best centre mids on paper on the day when they perform. Them two, without a doubt. In front of them, on the right-hand side, Alan Saint-Maximin. Hopefully he's fit enough to start. Fingers crossed. We haven't really seen the best out of Saint-Maximin this season yet. He played pretty well in the first game, as most of them did against West Ham, but after that, I haven't really seen him. Small appearance, which he shouldn't have. Picked up an injury against Blackburn, which meant he only lasted half an hour against Brighton, where we got fully turned over. Everyone did. And we haven't really seen him since then. So hopefully he's fit enough to start. Hopefully he can play 90 minutes and give Burnley the runaround, as we know he can be. Best player on the pitch on his day when he wants to be, when he's got the tools, when he's got people around him to help him out. Absolutely. Hopefully he's fit. Hopefully he can start. Alongside him in the middle, probably Miggy Almiron, who's hot and cold. Another one who you don't know which one you're going to get. I thought he was poor the other day. He was pretty poor against Tottenham. But previously to those, he was great. 3 assists in the first 3 games of the season. He was running the show. He was class. He's a bit down on confidence at the minute. But again, on paper, he's a starting 11 player without a doubt. In the hole, not out on the left. I know some people have been putting in their thoughts when I ask people to give me their thoughts at the end of the video, which I will do again. People always put Almiron on the left. He played there for the first year of his Newcastle career and he didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist. He's not good there. Like, he's just got pace. That's all he's really got. He's so much better in the middle. Once Brucey finally changed the formation to suit him, that's when we finally start to see the best out of him. He finished the season with a fair few goals, 6 I think, 8 goals, something like that in all competitions, which all came in the second half of the season. So yeah, Almiron in the middle, hopefully he's got a bit of confidence in him. And speaking of confidence, on the left, Joe Linton, with Ryan Fraser still not fully fit, and I think he's still quite a long way off match fitness. Joe Linton's been great. The last 3 games, he's really been putting in a shift. Not playing up front, which we all know he's not a striker, where he shouldn't be. Further back, in a position where he's more comfortable, and having bodies around him, having like Lewis doesn't overlap, having Almiron and Saint-Maximin and Wilson all around him. He's more confident. That's how Nagelsmann got the best out of him at Hoffenheim. He was playing him around players where he could pick up the ball, dribble it forward, find an option out wide, play a give and go. He was absolutely brilliant. I thought he was the game changer against Newport. Unfortunately, he missed his penalty, which almost cost her. Hopefully that doesn't dent his confidence, because finally he's on the rise. We're finally starting to see Joe Linton worthy of playing. One of the best players on the pitch in the last 3 games, I think, Newport, Morecambe included, where he got 2 goals. That was a big confidence booster. That led him into the Spurs game where I thought he was brilliant, and he was brilliant again on Wednesday again against Newport. I'd like to think we can start fresh with Joelinton, wipe the slate clean from that season, just forget about that, because he was playing up top, isolated all season. Carroll and Gale were injured all season. Joelinton had to start up front, really. There was no other options. He was pushed up top in Brucey's defensive formation, playing Brucey ball, 5 at the back, isolated up top, getting no service. And we know he's not a striker. He didn't really play there on his own. Well, he never played there on his own for Hoffenheim. He sometimes played with a partner, or he was in the hole behind or out on the left. So yeah, I'd like to think we can wipe the slate clean. We played Brucey ball, 5 at the back against Tottenham, and Callum Wilson was isolated the fuck. Like, are people going to start getting on Wilson's back if he's not scoring goals in Brucey's formation? I don't think they would. I think it would only be fair if we did, but I know that's not going to happen, and personally I don't want to see we play 5 at the back. But if Joelinton can play in a position where he's more comfortable, get a little bit of confidence in him, like, we should be getting behind him, because he was so down on confidence last year. Honestly, last year, Wilson, Shearer, Ronaldo, Messi, they wouldn't have scored many more goals. We've seen it against Tottenham. We didn't have a single shot on target other than the penalty. That was the problem last season. People are blaming Joelinton for not scoring goals, but we weren't creating the chances. So I'm calling for a clean slate for Joelinton. Forget last season. Now he's a bit happy. He's got some confidence. He's got Premier League experience. He's got a year under his belt. Got a couple of goals and played 3 great games. So yeah, I'm calling for Joelinton to start on the left, as I say, with Fraser still not being match fit. Hendrick played on the right in a couple of the other games, but yeah, it wasn't that great. So yeah, if them 3 are all fit and firing, Almiron, Saint-Maximin and Joelinton, I think that's a brilliant back 3. In behind Callum Wilson, as I mentioned, he'll be playing up top with Joelinton and Saint-Maximin around him. Almiron joining him up top as well, so he's not completely isolated. Manquillo and Lewis down the sides, whipping them balls in. That's the way to play. That's the way to score goals. Wilson loves getting on the end of them. He fights for it. We've seen it against West Ham. Lewis was whipping loads of balls in. Wilson was fighting to get on the end of everyone. Got his head on them. Put a couple wide, but at least he's fighting for it. At least he's trying to get there. He's got that clinical instinct. He wants to score goals. So yeah, I am happy for him to go up top. Leave Carroll on the bench, because that formation doesn't work where they play together. It did against West Ham. It hasn't since. So yeah, Wilson up top for me, and I'll show you my bench. I've got Gillespie with hopefully Kraft and Lascelles. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that them 2 can be fit. Sean Longstaff, Jeff Hendrick, Ryan Fraser. Hopefully he can come on again, get 20 minutes under his belt, because he needs that fitness. And we've got that week break where we can just go into training, work on some fitness, and hopefully he can be fit enough against Man United or the week afterwards. And Andy Carroll up top, another option that we like to have. He's a great impact sub, Andy Carroll. If we are struggling 10-15 minutes towards the end, he is a danger man in the box. We can pump it into, get his head on the ball, knock it down to anyone, Wilson, Almiron, whoever it is, and hopefully get a goal. There's only one first team player in that I would be excluding, which I don't really want to exclude. It's just my prediction, and that is Jacob Murphy. Murphy has been impressing me lately. I'm actually quite a fan of Jacob Murphy. He didn't have the best of early year career at Newcastle, but since coming back, good loan spell last season. He's been brilliant in pre-season. The few opportunities that he's had so far, he's been decent. He'll get a spot there if Kraft or Lascelles are out. I think that's the only way he's going to get on the bench, unless we drop Hendrick or Fraser's not even fully fit to make the bench. But yeah, I'd imagine one of either Kraft or Lascelles not being fully fit, and then Jacob Murphy can take their place. That's all from me, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to put your lineup in the bottom. Give me a score prediction as well. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV, and enjoy yourself.